Hi and very good morning to Madam Chu and our fellow friends. In this video, we will present about sport tourism. Before that, I would like to introduce my team members, starting from me, Nurul Hidayah Binti Hanafi, Mohammad Haziq Nurhakim bin Mohammad Nur Alysha Khaireen Binti Mohammad Shaifutra, and Nur Sara Binti Maysnan. So, what is sport tourism? Sport tourism can be divided into two categories, which are hard sport and soft sport. Hard sport tourism emphasizes on visitors whose main goal is to take part in sporting events. These are people whose primary motivation for travel is sport, to visit sports stadiums, sports centers, to attend or compete in sporting events, to watch sports activities. Many of these are obviously sportsmen and sportswomen, doing so more rarely individually or in teams for a living, earning money or participating in more competitive ways, but they are often visitors in the sense of needing to fly. Hard sport tourism is linked to the huge volume of spectators gathering to watch a legendary international film sporting event such as Olympics, FIFA World Cup Soccer, and Formula One Grand Prix. Soft sport tourist groups are those tourists for whom the main reason is the holiday. As occasional recreational or social sports players, they can participate unconsciously or passively in some type of sport, or watch an event taking place in the region. Through soft sports tourism, the sports buff travel far and wide to engage with sporting activities such as golfing, biking, cycling, canoeing, and boating to draw in enthusiasm and drive and spend their leisure time on health-friendly exercise. So, the historical background of sports tourism. Watching or participating in sport as a visitor has a long history, particularly in terms of tourism of major events. We could think of the Greek Olympic Games, Roman gladiator events, medieval and Renaissance jousting, shooting, and archery competitions, major horse race from the 18th century onwards, and the draw from the late 19th century of inter-urban, regional, and international teams and individual sport competition. History says that physical sports were conducted and enjoyed by the aristocracy and the commoners in the amphitheaters during the reign of the Roman emperors. The contests were violent and relentless, and ultimately ended in a bloodbath dominated by a delirium of madness to the loud cheering of spectators.
Assalamualaikum and hi guys, my name is Mohammad Nurhakim bin Mohammad Nur. I'm from HM215C and now I will be going to continue the presentation about the type of attraction. So in the type of attraction, it will be divided into 5 types, which is the Litu di Langkawi, Formula 1, SEA Games, Langkawi Ironman Triathlon, and lastly is the Royal Langkawi International Regatta. So for the first attraction, I will be going to talk about the Lee Tour de Langkawi. So usually this is a series of highway bike races and was held for the first time in 1996, and this tour was recognized by the International Cycling Union, or called as UCI Asia Tour, and the rewarding prizes and challenging racetracks attract the participation of many world champions, and this tour also advances the name of the tour Langkawi as a popular tourist destination in the world. The cycling championship takes riders to all corners of the peninsula of Malaysia, and the series of cycling tours in the championships in broadcast live on RTM1 and the ESPN Astro channel. So there were 12 race stages in 1996, but this was reduced to 10 in 2002 at the request of the UCI. The Tour de Langkawi is now recognized as the most prestigious cycling championship in Asia and the 4th most prestigious in the world after the Tour de France, Volta di España, and the Giro d'Italia. Before continuing to to race in Europe, Tour di Langkawi is also part of a warm-up event for professional riders. According to the Malaysian National Cycling Federation, an estimated 800 million television viewers and radio listeners follow Tour di Langkawi's progress every year. And this event has successfully promoted Langkawi Island in particular and Malaysia in general as a popular destination for sports tourism. Next, I'll be going to talk about the Formula 1. So, this series of the most popular car racing championships in the world was officially founded in 1946 and was originally known as Formula A before renamed to the Formula 1. And this racing series is being watched live on TV by 580 million people worldwide. The Federation Internationale de Automobile (FIA) has sanctioned the race, as the FIA is the organization that is responsible for setting the rules for this series of races. The F1 race involves the participation of different parties such as the car manufacturers, Alfa Romeo, Ferrari, Mercedes-Benz, BMW and Toyota. And there are also private teams such as Sauber Petronas, or known as BMW Sauber, Jordan F1 Racing Team, Toro Rosso and others. The F1 race is held at the Sepang International Circuit (SIC) in Malaysia. Next, I'll be going to talk about the SEA Games. So, the Southeast Asian Games, or also known as the SEA Games, is a biennial multi-sport event involving participants from 11 countries in Southeast Asia. The games are regulated by the Southeast Asian Games Federation under the supervision of the International Olympic Committee (IOC) and the Asian Olympic Council. The Southeast Asian Games owes its origins to the Southeast Asian Peninsular Games, or SEAP Games. So the fourth attraction is the Langkawi Ironman Triathlon. So the Langkawi Ironman Triathlon is an event that tests your fitness and physical and mental strength. And this involves three types of discipline, namely swimming, cycling and running. The Langkawi Ironman Triathlon was first held in 2000, and this tournament is a mandatory event for professional triathlon athletes, as it offers points to determine which athletes are eligible to compete in the Ironman World Championships that are then held in Hawaii. The athletes taking part in this event must swim a distance of 2.4 miles, cycle another 112 miles and run for the final 26.2 miles. So the last attraction that will be discussed about is the Royal Langkawi International Regatta. So this prestigious event took place for the first time in 2003 and entered its 7th edition in 2009. The event is organized by the Royal Langkawi Yacht Club with the Prime Minister's Trophy Award in the main category. And there are also a few other categories in the competition, namely Premier Cruising, IRC, Sport Boat, Latu Sport Boat, Multi-Hull Racing and Club Cruising. And this prestigious event has successfully attracted well-known yacht racing champions in the world, such as Bruno Perron. The event was attended by 60 Asian and 10 European contestants. The contestants from Asian countries include Singapore, Thailand, Hong Kong, South Korea, China, Philippines and Australia. The participants from the European continent came from the United Kingdom, Germany, Netherlands, France, Belgium and New Zealand. Pulau Langkawi is the one of the world's most popular venues for the development of sailboat. So next I'll be going to talk about the activities in sport tourism. So sport tourism is considered to be tourism which is planned by an individual for the purpose of observing or participating in various sporting events. It is a tourism that focuses on sports, and individuals are developing a great deal of interest and enthusiasm in different types of sports and are planning to pursue them as a career. So that's all from me. Thank you guys for your cooperation, and now let's continue our presentation with the sport tourism impact. Let's go.
Hi and Assalamualaikum everyone. I'm Alysha Khaireen from HM2415C. I will be continuing this presentation with the explanation of sport tourism impacts. Economic impact can be defined as the effect that will affect the economy in the particular country. It usually measures changes in business revenue and come with any monetary platform. For sports tourism, the impacts that we can see is from the positive side. Firstly, when there is a sporting event being held, it will boost up the economy of the country. This is because there will be many organizations and people all over the world will come to join the event. Thus, there will be an exchange of monetary within that period. Next, when there is a sports event, there will be a job opportunities for the local people. Basically, this can maximize the satisfaction and demand of the tourist market. Furthermore, local people will roll their money back to the current market of the country. Lastly, when the government provides a first-class type of service hospitality for the sport event, people will feel welcome to the host country. In addition, a good hospitality will draw more people to travel to the host country, and it will develop a useful way to stimulate the economic development. Moving on to the next impacts. Socio-cultural impacts of tourism can be defined as the ways in which it contributes to changes in quality of life of the resident and host communities. As for these impacts, it can be divided into two sections, which is the positive impacts and the negative impacts. The blue box explains about the positive impacts and the red one explaining about the negative impacts. So, for the first point, there will be an exchange of cultural belief and values among local people and international tourists. Second, the participation of local people. For example, when the activity or event is in the small scale of size, local people likely to adapt to it. Thus, it will bring more entertainment and excitement benefits in the particular host community. So, as for the negative impacts for social cultural, firstly, when there is too many interaction in the host community, there will be a hooliganism, which is the violent or bad behavior by young troublemakers, typically will be in a group. Next, the increase of number for crime rate. This is because people tend to use crime when they are desperately in need of something. Last but not least, there will be a disruption of the normal life for the host community. This is because not everyone in the host community will be a part of the sports event, so it will disturb their own daily schedule, which will impact their life. Moving on to the environmental impacts, where it is an impacts that are caused by a development, industrial, or any infrastructural project in the environment. For positive impacts, the government provided a better and suitable place depending on spots chosen. For example, a suitable stadiums and buildings that is made specifically for sports. Next, the convenient and fast public transportation. So, it will make people easy to move without any circumstances. Lastly, the government rebuilding facilities in order to ensure that the facilities are suitable and safe enough to be used by everyone. Despite all of the good impacts, there will be negative impacts of the environmental for sports tourism. Firstly, when there is too many construction sites, it will harm the natural environment. Next, when rebuilding facilities, shops, or building, there will be a long period of construction time. Thus, this will impact the environment too. This will create a pollution like air pollution, noise pollution, and even water pollution. Things like this can easily make the environment quality become bad day by day. The government has to find a way in order to sustain the environment from getting bad. I think that is all from me. I will pass this presentation to my groupmate. Thank you.
I am Sara Binti Maysnan, and now I will be explain on the challenges and issues in sports tourism. There are three challenges in sports tourism, which are social issues, sponsorship issues, and also climate changes issues. The first one is on social issues. We can take example on the traffic congestion and parking problem have been occurred by the construction of facilities to host mega event and during the actual events too. Thus, criminal offense have been increased by the entrance of people and migrants workers, which may be further effect on skill shortages because sometimes the community itself against the sports event because the people will be over assessed and lost their recreation amenities. We can take example as the local protested against the Bondi Beach volleyball event in the Sydney 2000 Olympic Game. Consequently, they lost their recreational amenities. Secondly, the sponsorship issues, where it is an important issue for sports marketing and critical concern for the event management because sports popularity is a main point for increased investment in particular sports event. However, many of sports less fortunate to commercially success and not great public support. Therefore, it does not attract the broadcasters, the advertisers, and also the sponsors. Some other sports have invested some of money, but it does commercially unsuccessful. Even athletics is main game in Olympic sports does not attract more spectators outside the Olympic. This is similar to hockey, volleyball, handball, shooting, swimming, wrestling, judo, fencing, and weightlifting, rowing, canoeing, and skating as well. These sports are highly depending on Olympic funds. Hence, Dutch Rowing Club is a good example for low sponsorship attraction. Last but not least, the challenges on the climate changes. We could take example on the winter tourism in the European Alps is highly dependent on snow-based winter sport. The lack of snow at the preparation phase is the one of the major international ski events. The World Cup races in Kitzbühel lead to a large number of booking cancellation, while scientists offer views different views about the magnitude and exact effects of climate changes. It is a fact that a change of climate is happening. This will modify the characteristic and quality of winter sports tourism. Now I will continue on the recommendation. On social issues, I recommend for the event organizers to promote and use their most efficient mode of transportation during the event. The past Olympic Games have highlighted the development of transport, which is mainly used in public transport by rail. The event organizers should be innovative with temporary transport schemes, and the maximum priority should be given to a mass public transport, and transport development should be the white elephant. It should be long-lasting and sustainable legacy. The organizers of the Beijing Olympic Game have given permission to use bicycle or bike and public transport within Olympic Village and provide fans near the Olympic Village with free 24-hour parking facilities. This is the one of the practical solutions for a problem with transport and traffic. Next is on the sponsorship challenge. The sponsors of the event should be drawn to reflect their values. The 2012 Olympic Game Waste Management Pre-Game is one of the good programs for sponsors to play their important role, which is a great opportunity for funding event at the same time as helping them move forward to get the greater opportunity. The good sponsorship is not just about money, it has considerable value sharing both sides. Lastly, recommendation on climate changes. Some of the winter sports resorts, which also concentrate on sustaining winter sports, should know that customers are quite vulnerable towards waiting times and costs. The average cost of holidays affects the conduct of preference tremendously. Therefore, it is not necessary to increase the transportation fees in order to account for the rising artificial snow costs. Therefore, the challenge will be how to avoid a negative cycle between increasing operating costs, increasing visitor charges, followed by visitors declines. New collaboration with hotels and other tourism services should be established to maintain an attractive offer.